What's good, everybody? We are live, and I am sweaty. Welcome back to the most ghetto podcast in the world. This is Just Breathing Live, sitting on a floor because the Wi-Fi in my studio sucks. So yeah, that's how we're gonna start tonight. I think one of the major things that is a consistent in my life is that I run into walls and then I have to figure out how to get over them. I'm sure that'll preach. But yeah. Ooh. So yeah. That's how we're gonna start. I have my volume on the iPad. Anyways, let's get into this. This is the first stream, and it is a test stream, as you can see. I am seriously sitting on the floor right now in a very large room, and I basically had to take everything out of my studio that I use for audio, for visuals, for lighting, and run it to this other room that had better Wi-Fi. So that's where we're at with that. But let's get into it. Let's go over what I want these times to be. I'm a little amped up right now. I'm not joking. I'm going to try and not raise my arms up too much because I'm sure my pits are sweaty. But I just wanted this time to be a hang. So I didn't want to bug out and just be like, yo, I can't do it, technology. I wanted to be here because I said I would. And that's how I'm going to operate with this live stream. I'm going to try and be here every Wednesday at 6 for people that just want to talk, for people that just want to get on and ask questions and have me blabber on about whatever topic you want to bring up. I'll look at your comments, make sure I'm following what's going on there. But yeah, so that's what these nights are going to be. Maybe we can, until people are putting stuff in the comments, until we're getting rolling, which may not be tonight. It may be many streams from now that people start hopping on here. I'm okay with that. Honestly, this is a big step for me because I've never done anything alone before. I usually do podcasts with other people, which, you know, I like more. But maybe I use that as kind of a crutch too, because then you could kind of, it's give and take. That other person can fill a lot of the space of the podcast. But yeah, I really felt like I wasn't getting in touch with who's listening to my podcast. And I'm not getting any feedback on, what you think of what I'm saying or what you agree with, what you disagree with, what you want to hear more of. So I'm like, okay, I'll do a live stream. I'll get on. I'll make sure that, I'm engaged in the comments. It's not going to be something where I'm going to do an episode and you guys can just kind of have your own thing in the chat. I want to be in there. I want to know what you're talking about. I want to know what you want to talk about. So that's basically the setup for these nights. And yeah, I hope it's a good hang. I hope eventually the topics that we get into, someone will tell their friend about it. They'll hop on and we'll just have a good time. I've never really done a lot of live streaming with YouTube. So this is kind of new for me. So I don't know a lot of the ins and outs of the chat or super chats. I don't even think I have that. Just at where my subscribers are right now. I don't think I can do super chats or anything like that. So I don't think I'll need it though. So I think if you put something in the chat, I'll be able to see it. So put it in there, ask your questions, discussion starters. Yeah. I'm getting text messages. Hold on one sec. Let me see. I got a text from my wife that I might be muted. I don't know. Let me see. Hold on one sec. Let me check the volume. No, you're good. Come on, wife. Just kidding. I love you. Yeah. So that's what these nights are going to be about. Yeah. I see a couple people in the chat. Ask me something. Let's get this started. I'm just going to be hanging out. I'll talk about whatever's on my mind, something that I saw happening in the world that I wanted to maybe just vent or talk or discuss. And I'll do that until someone puts another question and kind of deviates that conversation. And then we'll go from there. So, yeah. One thing, I don't have it with me. I had it in my studio because I was going to show you guys. But I just recently got this really cool booklet. It's called a productivity planner. And it's been something that's been really cool in my life. I'm not 100% using it as effectively as I could, but the concept is awesome. Maybe later I'll run and go get the book and show you about it, and show you what's inside of it. But basically, the whole concept of the productivity planner is that either the night before the next day or the morning of a new day, you sit down and you basically write out all of the things that you want to accomplish in that day. And what's neat about, because some people are like, oh, it's like an itinerary, you put stuff on the calendar. Yeah, but what it allows you to do is it forces you to say what kind of things you want to focus on in that day. And it basically, it allows you to put a time that you think it'll take you to complete this task. And what's cool about that is, you know what you're going into before you start on that task. And what they recommend is that you give yourself, 30-minute chunks of focus time. So if you think it's going to take you 4 30-minute chunks, you write down a 4, and then every half hour, you kind of fill in these dots. And then at the end of that task, once you've completed it, you write how long it actually took you, just so you're tracking all of that stuff. But what's cool about that is that it forces you to say, I'm going to focus on this thing for 30 minutes. And then you take a break. You don't work longer than that. You take 30 minutes and then you take a break. So it forces you into this time where you're like, I got 30 minutes to work as hard as I can on this project, or as hard as I can on this creative thing, or hard as I can on cleaning the house, whatever it is. So it's been a real cool asset to where I want to get to in my life. I really want to get to a place in my life where I'm scheduling out my day completely. I mean, and I'm talking about, because I have a 9-to-5, and that, unfortunately, in the job that I'm at right now, you can't really deviate too much. You can't say, well, this time of the day, I'm going to get such and such done. It kind of is just coming at you, and you're doing whatever is being thrown your way. But everything outside of work, and even on my breaks, maybe my lunch break, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take that lunch break and I'm going to do said task. And so you can allot time to that and put that in your productivity planner. But those times outside of work where you do have control, I want to be able to plan like the tasks that I want to get done and allot time for that. But I want to plan times to, focus time to be with my kids, focus time to be with my wife, focus time to make sure that I'm going out and getting together with friends. So, I think it's going to be a really, really cool device to help discipline me more. And I already am creating a lot of habits in my life. I usually get up early now and I go for a walk first thing in the morning. And one thing, and it's different for everybody, and everything I say is different for everybody, so just take it with a grain of salt. We're just breathing. But I've been going for walks without headphones. And I know that's kind of crazy nowadays, because I think a lot of people exercise and they need the music, they need a podcast, they need some type of external stimulation as they do the exercise. But what I found was I spend so much of my day in distraction, either just distracted by work, distracted by podcasts that I'm listening to distract myself from work, whatever it is, I needed to remove myself or remove that distraction during that time and just give my mind some time to breathe, to give my mind some time to just work out thoughts and think and know how to react to something that maybe is coming up, know how to deal with something that I'm struggling with emotionally. Yeah, it's been a really cool thing. It's been a really cool thing. And it's not, yeah, like I said, it's not something that works for everybody. Some people are great. You know, the run itself is that release that some people need, and they can listen to music and listen to podcasts and audiobooks and all that type of stuff. And I was fine listening to music while I ran. I say ran. I run sometimes. I walk most of the time. But I really am enjoying leaving the headphones at home, going out and just kind of hearing nature, hearing the cars, hearing just all the audio visual elements of nature. And it's been really refreshing. And I was in a bad place, I would say most of this year so far. I've just kind of been in a funk. I've been sort of depressed. Not in a good place, very angry. And that's kind of a byproduct of other things going on. I can't remember off the top of my head, but my mentor talked about anger and said that's a secondary emotion. You need to figure out what is going on in your life that is causing that anger, because anger is not primary. It stems from frustration. It stems from, disappointment, jealousy. It could stem from a lot of things. But you gotta kind of find those things to deal with your anger. And I wasn't really giving myself any time to think. I wasn't giving myself any time to process what was going on emotionally inside of me. So I just kind of, would stuff it down, and that crap comes out in terrible ways. So, walking without distraction has really helped with that, because I was using distraction as a crutch. I was using distraction as a mechanism to distract myself from how I was actually feeling. And it works for a little bit, and it might kind of keep you sane for a little. I love distraction. What I'm doing right now is distraction to a certain extent. But it is what it is. There's definitely times that this could be useful. But yeah, removing some of those elements and allowing your mind time to think, time to process, time to feel is a very helpful thing. And that's really been helping me out recently. I've been doing that. I've been making sure I prioritize getting into the Bible first thing in the morning. So I try to wake up, read or listen to the Bible in the Bible reading plan that I'm in, and then go for the walk, and then come back. And if I have enough time before work out, and then, kind of go right into my work day. And what's cool about that too is having that structure is not only you're physically getting better, your wellness is being improved through all those activities, your mind is being stimulated by what you're reading, but I'm going into the workday without sitting there thinking about the workday. And I don't know what job you have or if you love it, great. But I'm not in that place with my full-time job. So like coming into that and just sitting there, maybe I drink tea, but drinking your tea and just thinking about the work that you have to do that day it's not a good mind place. So giving myself structure in the mornings and saying, you're going to do these things before that allows me to not dwell on what I'm doing. And then I just log in and I'm gone. I'm going into work mode and I get that done. And then, you go from there. But yeah, so that's been really helpful. Discipline. I say it all the time because it's so true. Jocko Willink is the guy that coined this term, but discipline equals freedom. And that's in every aspect of your life, every part of your life. Discipline equals freedom. And it could be a freedom from a lot of different things. Like I just said, for me, it was anger. For me, it was the funk, depression, whatever you want to call it, that I was in. And it's freeing me. I wouldn't say I'm freed yet. I still have those thoughts. I still have those things that I'm processing through. But now I'm giving myself opportunities to process them. And I'm giving myself opportunities to work those out. So, yeah, it's helpful. Oh my gosh, that water is so good. Wow. Yeah. I'm just checking on things. I'm just happy that we're still live. Like I said, the Wi-Fi in this building is getting worked on right now. I thought that it would have been extended a little more to where my studio is by this time, and it hasn't been yet. So hopefully in the coming weeks, I'll actually be able to do the live stream in my studio and not have to be sitting on a floor, because it's going to be crazy when I have to get up. Yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm old, and not really, but I'm definitely going to feel it. My legs are going to be asleep. My butt's going to be asleep, mostly. And that kind of affects everything else from the waist down. So, yeah. All right. What else should we talk about? God, it's so easy to just think about. It's amazing how my mind, and I don't know if you guys deal with this, but it's so easy for my mind to automatically go to politics. Like when you're like, what should we talk about? And politics jumps into your brain right away. And I don't think that's good. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm saying it as a negative. I don't like how there's so many things going on in the world, and somehow politics weaves its way into the fiber of all of it. And I hate that. I hate that. And there's a lot of reasons for it, I think, and maybe we could talk about some of those. But I think one of the reasons definitely that politics weaves its way into cultural things, religious things, just so many areas of life, is that people don't really have any other strong thing to fight for. And they don't really have any other thing to, they're not having meaningful conversations with friends. And I'm guilty of this too. I'm not removing myself from that observation. I definitely am guilty of not going deep with people on other stuff. And you're fed. I mean, I just look at, the YouTube feed down here, and there's just, and some of it's my fault because I click on those things. So I'm getting fed by the algorithm more political oriented things, but I just don't like it. I don't like it. And even in things, I listen to a lot of comedy podcasts, and even in the comedy podcasts, it weaves its way in. And I know they're supposed to talk about it. I want comedians to talk about politics because they're the only ones kind of saying anything truthful and kind of cutting through the noise that is the propaganda noise from every side that we're just being bombarded with. But man, it'd be nice to have one area. I mean, it's in gaming now, it's in movies, it's in comics, it's in sports. It's in so many areas. It's infiltrated into all of these areas, and it's not healthy. It's not something that we want as a society to be the end all be all of our society. And obviously I come from I guess not obviously, I come from a Christian background, so I would lean towards the fact that with the decline of religion, the upswing in political involvement of culture and just people in general has risen. And it might be something that we just need, like another kind of come to Jesus moment in our country. I'm not saying something bad, like I'm not saying 9/11 needs to happen to bring people to church. I'm not saying that. I'm saying from just an intellectual place, I think people can get to a spot intellectually where they're just like, hey, this isn't working. I'm not finding community, real lasting community in politics. I'm not finding hope. Like for all of the politicians that speak about hope and change, and you know who you are and who they are, and yeah, it never comes. There's always just more being mean. There's just always more animosity. There's more division that comes out of politics because they don't have a foundation, like a moral foundation to stand on. So, and I'm talking about every side. I don't think there's any side that really has a backbone, which comes only from having a solid place to stand. If your life is, if you believe there's just not consequences for things, for anything really, man, you're on sand. You're gonna sink. You're gonna fall. You're gonna run into some things that are just tough. Yeah. So I don't know. I think there is definitely a religious awakening that will have to happen in people's lives because they need something. Humans need religion. And right now you look at all the kind of religion of politics that's going on, and it's very religious in its nature. It's very religious in the way that people ascribe to it, in the saints that they sort of put on pedestals. It's very interesting how you have your priests and you have your bishops and you have your popes and presidents, and you get my drift. Yeah, politics has replaced religion. And it's sad because you have one thing that focuses on love, and you have one thing that focuses on charity, and you have one thing that focuses on truth and a foundational kind of guideline to follow in your life. And we replace that with politics, which involves people. And people can be great. I follow a lot of people, and I like a lot of people. And I look up to a lot of people. But I know that they're people. And I know that they can get into some weird stuff. And I know they can do some weird things because they're human. And that's just not where I want to hang my hat on. I don't want to be in a world where I'm just looking for people to fix things because they can't. A person or a group of people or a government of people can't fix the things that only can be fixed in community, that only can be fixed through relationships. The government's not going to fix the mental health crisis in our country. And I'm not even big on that word. When I was going through my funk, I'll call it a funk instead of mental health because I don't have a disorder. I don't have anything that a doctor could classify. I have my own disappointments. I have my own shortcomings, lack of discipline that is keeping me from doing the things that I want to do in my life, or keeping me from, being the person that I want to be emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally. It's on me. So it's not really mental health in my case. So I hate that word. But anyways, the government is not going to fix those that do have mental health problems in our country. They can't do it because the things that will fix that are relational. So many of the people, I mean, we look at like the school shootings that are going on right now and just the shootings in general. That's terrible. It is pure evil. It is disgusting, and also it's sad. And I know we're not supposed to ascribe any type of empathy towards those that did those acts, but we need to at least have it for those that maybe are thinking about doing something of that nature next. And the government can't fix that. They're not thinking about it. They'll say stuff and try to pass legislation about guns when it's people that did these heinous acts. The guns didn't jump up and shoot somebody. Somebody that was struggling with mental health, that was lonely, because in every case, these people are extremely lonely. They feel against the world because they feel like the world is against them, which is a symptom of loneliness. And I mean, there's a lot of other factors that we can get into specific to shooters, but those things need to be fixed through relationship. If those people had friends, if those people had people that took on the life of Jesus, the example of Jesus, and went out and loved the person that everyone hated. Like back in the day, like Matthew in the Bible was a tax collector, and he was hated because he was working for the Romans, who were subjugating the people of Israel at that time in Judea and in Israel, and was collecting money from them to go to Rome, not to help them, not to build roads where they're at, to go to Rome. And then Rome would decide if something needed to happen in that region. So that person was hated. And then Jesus comes in and calls that person and says, hey, do you want to hang out with me? Like, do you want to go with me and follow me and learn from me and maybe write a book one day that'll be read by millions of people? And that is what needs to happen to change the things that we want to see in our world. That's what needs to happen for things to change. It needs to happen through relationships. It needs to happen through community. A lot of people think they're in community because they're on social media and they have a lot of followers and they have some friends that are mixed into those followers, and they'll comment back and forth to each other when they should just pick up the phone and call that friend because they haven't spoke to them in months and they need that friend in their lives. But that somehow is just, it's not habitual to our society right now. Most of us aren't doing that. Most of us are just living in these spaces and interacting in these spaces. But that's not relationship. Relationship is going over your friend's house. Relationship is FaceTiming them instead of texting them. Relationship is so much more than that. We can't meet the needs that we all have as humans to combat loneliness, to combat feelings of being abandoned, feelings of, just those emotions that we need to thrive in our lives. We can't get that through social media. Yeah. Yeah. I think there's going to be kind of a religious awakening to some degree. I don't know how religious people will get, but I think there'll be a time, especially if things start getting worse in the world and people start getting more scared and people start getting, where's the hope? Start asking that question. Man, I love that question because that usually brings people to Jesus. Another story in Jesus' life, whenever he was out with the disciples or just out in any region that he was traveling to, because he didn't have a home. It's crazy that the Son of God didn't have a place to sleep at night. He was on the road, and whoever gave him a bed, awesome. If not, sleeping outside. But wherever he was, because of what he established, like who he established himself as early on in his ministry, as this great healer, as this person that would accept anybody, thousands of people would flock to him. And I just think, sure, he's Jesus. But man, that whole time on earth was to be an example for how we're supposed to live our lives. Like that whole time, he came to earth to die, but he lived out those 3 years before his death when he started doing ministry to show us how we're supposed to live. And man, wouldn't it be awesome to be the person that everybody knew they could flock to because they would find healing, because they would find acceptance, because they would find love. And they would find a person that cared enough for them to tell them the truth. To say hey, that thing that you're doing right now, that's going to kill you. It's going to hurt you. It's bad for you. Let me help you find another path. And man, it's awesome. It's awesome. You know what? People, when you have their best interest in mind, that means a lot to people. I think people flock to those types of people. I know I have. In my life, when I've had a person that's just so happy, that's so just people that are just for you. Whatever you're doing, they might not understand it, they might not be a part of it, but they're just like, dude, that's awesome. Whatever you're doing, it's great. Keep doing it. You're an awesome person. You can do it. Like those people are just missing. They're just missing from the world, and we need more of them. So, yeah, I want to be that person. I want to be like Jesus. It's a pretty tall order, but he said we could do it. So, all right. What else should we talk about? Dude, my feet are totally asleep right now. I cannot feel them. It's really bad. I'm gonna should I stay live while I stand up so I can just... You guys are looking out too because I don't have all my effects geared up right now. I could though. I could totally do it.
I could totally talk like this. Yeah!
I'm not going to do that though. But I have it available if I want to. So you never know when it's coming except for the time that I reach for it. And then you probably know it's coming. But it's okay. All right. What else has been happening? Oh, one thing that I was really excited about. There's a YouTuber called, he's not called, his name is Eric July. And I wonder, let me see if he goes by that on YouTube. He's also known as Ripa, Yeah, Young Ripa 59 is his YouTube channel. But I don't know if you're into comics or if you're into superheroes and all of that lifestyle. But he's a really cool character. He just has not been satisfied. Like I said, with politics, kind of getting into the fabric of everything. It's gotten into the comics, and every comic now has to, you know, be a person of a certain ethnicity. It has to, I don't know, be gay or trans or, you know, has to be a new female character or a female character replaces an old male character. And it's just all of these games that are being played right now instead of focusing on the story. So because of that, this guy, Eric July, he decided to take all of this money. I think it was like $200,000 that he had saved up to launch his own comic company. And he has one book one comic book that's coming out soon. It might be out already, probably sold out. And he launched it, and it has a brand new black character, and he's black himself. But like, what's so cool about it is he doesn't talk about the race of the character. We can see with our own eyes that Eric July is black, and we can see that the superhero is black, but he doesn't focus on it because he's invested in the story. It's so incredible and refreshing to just have a person that's just interested in telling a good story instead of checking a box. And it's been really cool. So he launched this thing called the Ripaverse, and this is where all of his comic lines and merch for those comic lines are going to be coming out of. And I know he launched a Kickstarter. I think he was trying to raise $100,000, and he's raised like close to $1.4 million for this comic series, which is just incredible. And what that shows me is that people are just hungry for stories. They're hungry for something that's just free of politics, free of culture war stuff, and that's just good superhero action with a good storyline, a good character, a good backstory, all of these things, good villain, all of these things. So yeah, it's been really, really awesome. I've been following this guy for a while, and he'll touch on political things. He's mostly interested in comics and, you know, nerd stuff, but yeah, I actually found him in the political sphere, started watching him for his comic stuff, for his like reviews on Marvel movies and DC movies and things like that, new comics that have come out. I just like his perspective. So I'm excited because this is straight out of his brain. He wrote the story. He got two amazing comic book artists to draw and colorize all of his stories. So it's really cool. So if you like nerd stuff like that, go check out his website, I think it is, or just search for the Ripaverse, and you can check that out. He has some videos on there basically explaining like what he wants to do, what his future plans are. And it's legit. He has a warehouse where he's getting ready for distribution. He has employees. It's not a fan fiction. Like, it's not like a fan project where he got a Kickstarter to maybe sell like 1,000 copies of a comic that he made. Like, no, he plans on launching this big to fund future projects, which is really cool. I love that type of stuff. I mean, I'm a big fan of people pursuing the things that they feel strongly about. And that's why I'm doing this stream. Honestly, like this is weird for me. I'm kind of getting my legs as we're going on and getting more used to just sitting here talking to a camera. But yeah, it's still scary. It's still like out of my comfort zone because I haven't done it before, and I'll get better at it. And we'll get more people on here, and we'll get more people interacting, so you don't just have to listen to me blabber on for this amount of time. But yeah, do what you love, and I think somewhat that's where some of my anger came from, is because I know that to be true, but I haven't been doing it. And anybody that has followed me for a while or followed Just Breathing knows that, we have a branch of Just Breathing, which is Laud and Lungs, which is our kind of music branch where we produce, write, and record our own songs. And I haven't been doing that. And honestly, like, that type of stuff wears on me. Like, that type of stuff keeps me up at night because I know I'm supposed to be doing it, but I'm not. And I just want to say that so you know that maybe you're in that same boat where you're like, I know I'm supposed to be doing this. I know I'm supposed to be doing this, but I'm not. Like with this live stream tonight, I don't want to be where I'm sitting right now. This is really weird, and I'm waiting for somebody to walk into this room at any time. I feel like I've had like some angels protecting the doorways and holding people back or something because I really did expect somebody to walk in here. Probably my dad, because he works here at this building. But yeah, I mean, but I didn't want to. I knew mentally if I didn't make this happen tonight, it might not happen. I might just put it off because I'm just going to go into another funk because I chickened out. So I'm here and I'm doing it. And yeah, I like it. I like doing this. I'm going to do it every week. So yeah. Yeah. Go do what you're supposed to do. I think a lot of us have knowledge of what we're supposed to do with our lives, and a lot of us just don't do it. Either because it's safe to not do that if we have a good job, fear, responsibility. I mean, I definitely can't do to the extent that I might want to do. But yeah, I definitely am going to try. I'm going to start, and this is a start. So yeah, we'll do it together. I say yeah a lot.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done. That's way too fun. Oh my gosh, I should take them off. I should take them off.
I should really take them off.
Oh, it's so fun. So fun. All right, so what else should we do? What else should we talk about? Yeah, Young Rippa 59. Go subscribe. Go check out the Rippaverse if you want some new, fresh comics. I don't know, man. I said on the social media post, I'm like, I'll go as long as I can until I start to run out of steam. I don't know how some people do it. I guess like some people stream not by themselves for a long time. And it's probably like a muscle. You just have to work your way up to it. But woo! It's not easy to talk for this long and just keep coming up with stuff to talk about. That's interesting. That's the difficult part. I could talk. I could, I grew up as a pastor's kid. So, yeah, you just learn to talk to people. You just learn to chit chat. You just learn to, just go along with it. Whatever situation you're in, you just, I don't care who I'm talking to, what it's about. I can make it happen. But I don't want to just ramble and I don't want to talk about whatever here. I want to actually talk about stuff that's meaningful and that matters and that you want to talk about. So, but yeah, I am floundering right now. All right. Yeah, let's wrap it up here. If you want to put something in the comments real quick, you could do that and we'll keep going. If not, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. And then hopefully next week we'll have better internet in the studio and I'll actually be able to stream out of the studio where it's more comfortable. There's air conditioning and yeah, it'll look better. It'll look better than this wall. Oh, this ugly wall. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you for those that hung out with me live and those that watch this back. I mean, power to you for watching this back. Eventually, it'll get better when I have other things that I could go to stories or I could bring up videos or do all that type of stuff. This will be far more entertaining than me just talking. But if you do watch this back, thank you. Thank you. And if you got that far and you've been that committed, make sure you check below and you check the subscribe button. Make sure that's hit. I actually go to a lot of people's pages that I watch all the time, and I realize I've never subscribed to their channel. It's a really weird thing. I don't know if I got unsubscribed by YouTube because there's some stuff that happens with that sometimes, or what. But make sure you're subscribed to this this channel. Hit the like button. That does something, I think. Best thing to do is just to tell somebody about it and be like, yo, do you want to like get on this and just ask questions and chat and have a good discussion on Wednesday nights? That'd be the best. That'd be the best. So do that. Do the things. And yeah, I'll catch you next Wednesday, 6 p.m. I like this time. I was a little scary with traffic, but I got here and got set up fine. So, yeah, we'll do this 6 p.m. Wednesdays live. So, all right, guys. I will end the stream if I can reach my computer. Bye.